Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman, Dr. Scott Bradley, freedomsrisingsun.com, here to break down hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use just for you. It is the broadcast for November the 14th in the year of our Lord 2025, promoting God, family, and country, protecting life, liberty, and property, rejecting revolution unless it's a Jesus revolution. Then we're in because we follow the Prince of Peace. Jesse Jackson in the news. He's hospitalized for a rare brain disease. And they say the civil rights leader faces massive complications. He's 84 years old, and so it's kind of rough for him, and our prayers are with him as well. Again, I don't agree with Jesse Jackson on anything, but I am sad when people suffer and people are in pain and people's families suffer nevertheless. I wish the left and the right and all the folks on the extreme would have the same kind attitude. Oh, after all, yesterday was World Kindness Day. And so I'm extending that to today and just exhibiting a little bit of kindness to Jesse Jackson, of all people, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want anybody in pain. I don't want anybody to suffer. I want everybody to turn to God Almighty and everyone to feel good and to love their family and to forgive and to love thy neighbor as thyself. And I mean, I want that for even Jesse Jackson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Scott Bradley's with me, freedomsrisingsun.com. Welcome. Are you going to pray for Jesse and family too, Doctor?
Well, I'll have to keep that in mind. I don't know if it's going to cross my mind, but you talk about civility, and it caused me to do a quick look up. I mean, I have not had this on my mind for a while, but let me just.
I'm on a campaign for civility, by the way.
I know you are, and that's why it came to mind that you're always bringing it up. But here's just George Washington's Rules of Civility. There's a little book you can get that's got it in his handwriting. And again, so, I mean, here we go. Show not yourself glad at the misfortune of another, though he were your enemy. Okay, when you see
sounds
a
like
crime,
him and I are in line, Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying this is the way he tried to live his life. When you see a crime punished, you may inwardly be pleased, but always show pity to the suffering offender. Use no reproachful language against, I'm just skipping through some of these, anyone, neither curse nor revile. Be not hasty to believe flying reports to the disparagement of any. I'm just kind of skipping down to see if there's any other ones here. Anyway, that's probably enough.
If they say Sam Bushman's a racist, just don't be too hurried to believe it. Just learn and listen to Sam and find out if you think it's true. And when I tell you that I believe we're all God's children and we should behave like it, then, maybe somebody will give that a little bit of credence once in a while. And maybe they could even believe the same.
Oh, yeah, no question about that. Some of these old adages are just really, really kind of worth reviewing occasionally. We don't do them nearly often enough. Just let me give you a couple of others from Noah Webster. He's a great Christian, a great educator.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about honoring your father and your mother and obeying them.
That. I believe in that.
Okay, parents should be entrusted with the instruction of children.
Yes,
I'm just skipping
God
through.
did that. That's his design, just so everybody kind of remembers that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Let me just, I've got to skip down here a little. Well, I don't want to. Here's a good one. To young men, I would recommend that their treatment of females should always be characterized by kindness, delicacy, and respect. Here's another one. The chief temporal advantage of Christianity, the elevation of the female character. Let justice be done to their merits, guard their purity, defend their honor, treat them with tenderness and respect. I mean, this nowadays,
you're not supposed to think they're a dude, Doctor.
Not only that, but they can't. Okay. I mean, here's the deal. There's this honor and respect kind of thing. Here's one that I think.
You mean treat her like a daughter of Almighty God? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Should not beasts as well as men be treated with mercy? They ought indeed. It is wrong to give needless pain even to a beast. If a man treats his beast with cruelty, beware of trusting yourself in his power. He will probably make a severe master and a cruel husband. I mean, these guys had some
Wow.
adage that were, I mean, you say, wow, you can kind of take these to the bank today. Nowadays, if a girl drops her book at school, any guy in the hallway will kick them back to her. I mean, it's like, come on, you guys, just step up your game a little bit, okay?
Yeah, so we talked about World Kindness Day yesterday, and they were saying things like you should hold doors open for people and stuff like that. And I was asking if that would be allowed. And, I talk to women all over this country, and they secretly say, I don't want to say this too out loud because I don't want to be, attacked or ridiculed or possibly assassinated. But I like it when people hold doors open for me. And then I was saying, as a man, I like it when people hold doors open for me too. Especially if my arms are full. I mean, I think it's just a nice, good thing that anybody ought to do for anybody.
Yeah, just a little bit of just consideration. That's what it boils down to. And
Whoa.
I can't imagine. I mean, people are so, I don't know, maybe they're watching their cell phones and they're texting so much and their Facebook or whatever the heck that they kind of are unaware
Yeah,
of
you
their
might be
surroundings.
texting while you're walking through the door and not even know somebody was holding it for you, and you might not even say thank you. You're too preoccupied. I think when people hold doors open, the next thing people should do when they go through is they're like, thank you.
You know,
Imagine that, It's
yeah,
getting
now that you
crazy.
bring,
See how we promote what this stuff, kind of stuff. Whatever they tell you about Sam Bushman, you just see what we're promoting and see what you think of it. How's that?
yeah,
And
I
what we
agree.
reject, and the things we reject too. I think people ought to say thank you if somebody holds open the door, does something nice for you. I think a thank you is always, that thank you word can just pop right out.
Well, and now that you bring thank you up, let me just say something that it's inexplicable to me.
Please,
If I
sir.
say thank you and
Yes.
someone says of course, I thought you're welcome or glad to do it or I'm happy to, but this thing of course, I mean, what does that mean? I mean, you say, well, my interpretation
It
is,
means it's a given. When you
yeah,
say thank you for doing something, they're like, of course I'd do that for you. Of course that's the way I should behave.
or of
Of
course you
course I
should say
should be.
thank you. I
Yeah.
mean, no, I mean, it just is inexplicable. I think that a couple of, you're welcome or glad to
Like when
do
I
it.
when I
Yeah.
when I go to a restaurant and they pour my water and I say thank you, and then they say of course. They're basically saying anytime, absolutely.
Either
Why
that or
wouldn't I? Kind of an idea, right?
maybe, or you should say thank you to me. Like I say, it's inexplicable. I just think that we are changing, and it's just
I
simple
could
little
just say you're
silly
welcome
things.
instead of thank you to them when they pour my water. I
Absolutely.
could just say you're welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, we're far afield probably from
All
the
right,
program you
Zach.
planned
Zach, our
today.
producer says don't mention it.
Yeah.
I want to mention it because I like to say thank you.
Yeah.
See, saying thank you is like a good, nice, kind, generous thing to do. What I like to teach my children is that what you do is you elevate your language, right? You elevate your vocabulary. You learn to say please and thank you and my pleasure and I appreciate that and I'm much obliged. And pretty soon you kind of get redneck
Yeah. Yeah.
gratitude. But
And
you
sir
look
and
at it,
ma'am. Yes, sir.
sir, ma'am,
Yes,
and then
sir.
my wife says don't call me ma'am. It makes me feel old. And then you say okay, miss,
Or,
and
or how about, well, then there's another terminology, madam. Yes, madam. I mean, okay, never mind.
now, madam, if you're not careful, goes all sideways due to
Yeah, it
modern
does.
reality. And there you go, too.
Yeah.
Went to a gala last night. Can't say gala because, that goes all sideways.
Holy
Went to a
cow.
gala, though, and it was fantastic. Had a lot of great things happening there and stuff like that. So we're doing really good, Doctor. This freedom loving, fantastic, faith filled. We're taking America back, one heart, one mind, one issue at a time. Friday. That's what we're doing. Did you have the webinar last night?
We did indeed.
Were people polite? Were people saying please and thank you
You
and yes,
know, I
sir?
mean,
And
there's a lot of civility on that. I mean, I don't think I've
I like
ever
it.
really been asked a real, absolutely belligerent question. Now, there's times where people, if they were on the air, would say, and I've had this happen. And so I read the questions. I
Yeah.
don't let everybody have the mic. And sometimes, I mean, I remember one guy said something that probably would have the Secret Service on his front porch the next day. I mean, it's kind of, oh,
And did
you
and did you say
idiot.
no, 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 hold on, stop,
And
wait?
I said, we'll edit that one out. you know.
Yeah,
So, I
there
mean,
you
it's
go.
just really weird that some people think they get an open mic and it becomes their prerogative to try and unsettle,
Well,
the
they also
society.
think too if they get kind of belligerent or push their point that they're going to somehow change minds and influence people. And I'm convinced that, you can make a bold statement here or there if you need to, but when you start to push it to the point of being obnoxious, you've lost your ability to win friends and influence people at that point. So, you change a man's opinion against his will, he'll have the same opinion still, kind of an idea. And we need to remember that too. That I know, like a lot of people call me up with this sovereignty kind of movement. They're like, hey, I'm a sovereign citizen. Then somebody else says, that's an oxymoron. Don't say that. And then somebody else says, well, I'm not subject to your laws then, whatever you want to call it. And then we just kind of go down this spiral rabbit hole. I'd rather promote God, family, and country, protect life, liberty, and property, use the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, as my guide. And I'd rather talk about things that are making a difference in the world and how we can be involved in solutions. That's kind of what I like to do on World Kindness Day yesterday, extending that all weekend long on this program just because we can. I'm with Dr. Scott Bradley, ladies and gentlemen. He's well known for the incredible curriculum to preserve the nation at freedomsrisingsun.com. Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Yours truly, Dr. Scott Bradley, freedomsrisingsun.com. So, Doctor, I want to talk about the webinar last night a little bit. Everybody was civil. That's fantastic. I like that all the time. How many questions did you get to? 8?
Well, that's wishful thinking on my part. If I get 8 in, I did pretty darn good. I only got 6 in.
You know what you need, Doctor? You need your wife to be the pacer.
Well, no, I've got a little clock. I've got a little timer.
But without someone pushing you, you don't obey the clock is the problem.
Well,
so what you got to do is you got to have a pacer. When you're in a race, whether it's a NASCAR race or whatever else, or you're running, you always want a pacer to kind of make sure that you're on schedule and that you're kind of keeping where you need to be. And, you need one of those, Doctor.
I probably do, but I don't know what she'd do. Throw something at me, or she doesn't want to go.
She'd just simply have a button and she'd press your mic and you'd just be muted.
Or maybe have electrodes attached to my fingers or something, and just so I got
just give you the little
definite signal,
And she'd call it a love tap, Doctor.
Yeah,
call it.
That's probably a civil thing to do.
All right, there you have it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, what were the topics? Let's talk about. You can
just in
list
general,
them in order, your favorite topic, or whatever you want.
Let's do the in order that they came in, and you can kind of pick and choose. But here's the deal, though. I just give you the first one was update government shutdown. Okay, now the thing is that the outcomes of that are far more deep and wide, and what didn't come out of it is probably more important or more germane than. Because there really were no winners. Nobody won anything, but that's the number one. Let's see. I got to go through the papers here. Second one.
Yeah, but listen, hold on. Before you go on, though, let me just tell you how I would answer this update on the closure thing or whatever, okay? I've got 2 headlines that I wrote that relate to this perfectly. I put them on the broadcast yesterday, and I'll add them today, too, for relevance. But here's the first one. Shutdown's done, but Washington's assault on the Constitution never stopped.
Well, that's
all right. Here's the second one, Doctor. Here's the second one, sir. Shutdown ends. D.C. goes right back to writing checks that'll bankrupt America.
Well,
isn't that an answer to the shutdown? That really tells the whole story, doesn't it?
It does, but kind of people need to understand that this 43-day stuff that went on was really completely for naught. From the Democrat perspective, that's why so many are livid about it, because they didn't get what they put all their bets on. So there's a whole bunch of things, and what really came out of this is that there were nobody won. The Republicans can say they won, but nobody won. And by the way,
those who want to destroy America won, because what they managed to do is let us spend billions of dollars. That it costs more when the government shut down for some reason. So basically, we've eroded trust for the American people in the system. We've angered different people across spectrums. So if you're a communist, you've done well, Doctor, and they're accomplishing their goals, which is to just erode trust at every level in America and down the greatest country on the face of the earth. I think they've been pretty successful at that, and the government shutdown is kind of evidence ground zero, if you will.
And on top of that, all those that were working without pay, of course, get made whole. And now Kristi Noem said that they're going to give $10,000 bonuses out for the.
She was running around yesterday handing out checks, buddy.
Hey, these $10,000 checks. Holy cow! And now you talk about it, just handing out money. You talk about some of the things, the noises that are being made about rebates for
Yeah, you're going to get a
everybody.
$2,000 check, doctor.
It's just amazing. And what we saw out of the COVID con was when they were handing out money, the prices went through the ceiling and they've never come
Well,
down.
that's because when you just print extra money and hand it out to everybody and just basically give everybody a big old, shot of sugar, then, prices go up. It's inflationary for the very nature of the dishonesty involved, doctor.
It is
I mean,
indeed.
what more do you want me to say?
More dollars chasing the same amount of goods and services drives the price of the goods and services up.
Yeah, and
And
then what it does is it creates less goods and services because everybody and their dog can buy them. Pretty soon, you get a problem on the other side of the equation, right? And that's where stagflation starts to come in because then prices go up and nobody can afford them, and we just go round and round the barn, right?
nobody can afford a house, and so we're creating a truly a World Economic Forum prediction. You'll own nothing. I'm not sure that, but you'll be happy aspect is true, but we are creating that environment so nobody can own anything. I mean, you're going to be basically on the dole or renting all the time for the rest of your life. So
All
these
right. Well,
kinds of things
remember
are
yesterday
solved.
was World Kindness Day, so be kind and
Okay.
you can't criticize anybody too much if you're going to be too kind. So that's kind of the problem. I love kindness. I love civility. At the same time, how do you draw the line between calling a spade and being civil at the same time? Sometimes it's so difficult. I mean, I guess you just say, hey, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender movement is criminal. It's immoral. It's satanic. And I reject it 100%. Although I love the sinner but hate the sin. Is that how I do it kindly, doctor?
It's interesting to me if through my life I've spent quite a bit of time reviewing many of the founding fathers, quite detailed.
Yeah.
And John Adams was kind of a prickly, abrupt, direct kind of guy, and
Yeah, kind of like
that's the
Sam
way.
Bushman. I understand.
And the Thomas Jefferson was a genteel, courteous. I mean,
Kind of like
Thomas
Dr. Bradley.
Jefferson could
Yeah.
tell you to take a long hike on a short bridge, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, he told me
It
to."
sounds great. Yeah.
He
He
wished
said
me
he
a good
loved me.
trip. And Sam Adams or John Adams could say something very courteous and kind, and they'd think he was swearing at him. I mean, it's just his nature, his abrupt nature, caused a lot of people. In fact, the writing of the Declaration of Independence, when John Adams and uh, Thomas Jefferson were on the committee to write that, and uh,
Yeah.
John Adams said to Thomas Jefferson, "You write it. People like you more, and you write better, and on top of that, it'll go down better for the people." So
All
these
right.
demeanors, sometimes your demeanor can be misunderstood if you have an abrupt personality. So
Without a doubt. And sometimes it's wise to let certain people carry the ball in certain situations. When little tartness is needed, you can go to Sam Bushman. When it's, genteel kind of kindness, you can go to, Dr. Bradley or my wife, and I'll tell it to you very gently and kindly. And, well, all right, there you go. We have a kind of a problem. But I want to kind of repeat my statements on this before we let this economic issue go and this issue about government being opened and closed and whatever. Listen to the statements again. I know I've said them, but I want you to really think about them because it really tells the whole tale. Shutdown ends. DC goes right back to spending checks that'll bankrupt America. And hey, Washington's shutdown is done, but Washington's assault on the Constitution never stopped. I mean, that's really the tale for the government shutdown. It makes no difference to me whether it's open or closed because they're spending me into oblivion either way. It makes no difference if it's open or closed because, hey, I'll still have to file my taxes. I'll still have to be a slave to the unconstitutional IRS. I'll still have to be a slave to the hidden tax called inflation, no matter what they do, doctor. None of that changes for me. None of it.
well, and they catch up with what they claim they weren't spending before. So yeah,
It's a racket.
it's kind of like war.
It's a crime
Anyway,
syndicate.
yeah.
It's full of fraud and deception and manipulation. And by the way, just so you know, it's not very kind, doctor.
Yeah. Well, if you want to
All
check,
right, what's the next one?
well, it had to do with this bailing out Argentina and the optics on that and
Well,
what.
don't you think we ought to bail out the Argentines? Come on, doctor.
No, I don't.
I
And
thought you wanted to be kind.
you know what?
You mean it's
Theft is theft.
unkind to bail them out? In fact, it's criminal to bail them out?
They take by force. Government is
Steal?
force,
Yeah.
and then they And you know what they're saying? It's not a bailout. We're going to make money on it. Just like you make money on
What?
pesos. Come on, baby. They
And you
bought
make,
pesos.
and I don't want to make money on them though.
No,
Why would I want to
but
make money on the Argentines if they're not doing very well? If I make money on them, they got to be doing worse, right?
but you cannot, under any way, shape, or form, constitutionally take money by force from all Americans, and that's what government does, and
Well, I
shovel it
thought it
over
was
to
thou shalt
another
not
country.
steal. It's not kind to steal.
That's right. Government doesn't like competition, right? But the fact of the matter is, the optics on it were horrid. First of all, second of all, it's totally unconstitutional. And it's not let's make a deal. It's not. This is not a country called let's make a deal. Trump's the big deal maker, he claims, and he just thinks you go out and you cut a deal, and if you make a buck on it, you did a good thing. But it's not his job. He can go read the Constitution.
Well, he can do that with his own money if he wants to, though, Doctor. The
Of
principle is
course.
sound. Just the dishonest way we're carrying it out. It's the tactics that's the problem. He wants to do it with my money, not his own.
And the fact is, he's saying we're all going to be better off because the peso someday out of Argentina is going to be worth more to this country than
Which peso?
dollars are.
The
What?
Philippine one, the Mexican one, or the
It
Argentine
doesn't matter where you're going to invest your money if it's done
Oh.
beyond your
one? It
prerogative.
doesn't matter which peso. If I steal, it doesn't matter which one I make better.
Yeah, they're all
Oh
bad.
shoot! Oh, and the peso's not bad. It's just the stealing that's bad.
Well, that's right. Let every
Oh,
country's
shoot.
every country's got their own things.
All right. I just wanted to make sure everybody kind of understood that. So here's where we're at. Government shutdown doesn't matter a darn. We all got ripped off, and we're going to continue to get ripped off. And there you go. And now we bail out the Argentines, and it's stealing, and it needs to stop. And what's next?
You want the next
I bet we
question?
can answer. I bet we can answer every one of them with the Ten Commandments, Doctor.
Well, there's got to be some element of that application.
All right. Give us a teaser, then we'll talk about it.
Well, the visit Syria's new leader, terrorist though he be, came to Washington, and Trump's
mean
going to help
Donald?
him be successful.
Donald's hanging out with terrorists. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, but so do we all the time. I mean,
Will the terrorists bear false witness? Do you think?
well, he's going to kill our people if he gets half a chance. It
Shoot,
seems
thou
like.
shalt not kill. Man, we're just banging on all of them, aren't we? I'm Sam Bushman. Dr. Scott Bradley's with me. His website's freedomsrisingsun.com. My website's lovingliberty.net. Spread the word, share the love. Back in seconds on Liberty Roundtable Live. All right, back with you live. It's Sam Bushman, Dr. Scott Bradley with you, ladies and gentlemen. freedomsrisingsun.com is the incredible website for Dr. Bradley. You can check out the To Preserve the Nation Collegiate Series. Get a copy of the book and DVD set so you can help out your homeschoolers and everyone who wants to learn about the supreme law of the land and the relevancy to America and to us, and most importantly, to preserve the nation. So it's take the founding fathers' understandings, education, viewpoints, and bring them all forward in modern day and carry on their traditions. That's what it's all about as we preserve the nation. Anyway, check it out. Also, sign up for the weekly webinars, Q&As on the Constitution, and more. Every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, you can join if you get a ticket to ride at freedomsrisingsun.com. All right, Dr. Bradley, what else was going on in your webinar last night?
Okay, we did the Syrian leader that's Al Qaeda. And,
All right, so let's talk about that. Why is Trump even hanging out with this guy in the first place? I don't have a problem with diplomatic relations and talking to people. But I mean, he basically brings in like Netanyahu, war criminal, and then this guy as if they're like buddies, and anybody who has any question about it's off their rock crazy. These aren't good people, Doctor.
Well, that's kind of our tendency. I mean, Al Qaeda wasn't, or didn't we have some heartburn with those guys? Didn't it's this guy Bin Laden have something? I don't know. I mean, and the whole Syrian civil war that we got involved in at the behest of Israel and sending Tomahawk missiles and invading, and we're still in Syria. We got ground troops there.
Why? Let's just get out of there.
Well,
Come on
that's
home, baby.
And we're going after
I'll
Hezbollah,
be home for Christmas.
Antifa, but we're cavorting with Al Qaeda now. I mean, it's just
Yeah, why would we do that? That's a horrible thing to do.
we do it. I mean, and we
Let's
did it
just
with
not pick
Russia.
sides. Let's just basically stick on World Kindness Day and say you guys need to be kind to each other. Stop it. Don't do that anymore. Please get a copy of the Supreme Law of the Land, the Constitution. Get George Washington's Rules for Civility. Read up, people, and get a clue. We love you. We'll trade with you. We'll work with you. We'll be kind, but we're not picking sides. We're just not doing that.
Well, we're going to make sure this guy's successful. I mean, but it's really kind of selective.
Successful at
acceptance.
what? Destroying liberty for more people?
Well, he's taken over Syria, and it's an Al Qaeda guy. I mean, come on. we're getting in bed, cavorting, whatever you want to call it. I
Yeah,
mean,
so that means less freedom for more people.
but we did it with Israel, David Ben
Yeah, stop
Gurion,
that though. Israel's a
Menachem
bunch of
Begin,
criminals.
all of these
I mean, they're
guys
literally right now. The world is saying, "Hey, Israel's preventing food from coming in on the no fire zone or a ceasefire thing, and now we can't even bring in food." And then the Israelis are going, "Oh, yes, you can, and it's no problem." And somebody's lying. And well, when you study those who are whistleblowers, they just say Israel's lying, and both sides are just absolutely dirty as can be. But
every
yet,
credible
America is just going to pick sides and polarize, right? The communists are going
every
to go with the
credible
Palestinians, and everybody else is the biblical is going to supposedly go with the Christian Israel. And in neither case is there grounded truth, right?
every single credible source of information says Israel is committing genocide.
Yeah.
And by
So what are we going to do
any
about it?
stretch of the definition, well, we keep supporting them for
Well,
crying out
let's
loud.
stop. How do we stop?
Well, you and I can commit that, but we got the leadership of this nation is neck deep in cavorting
Oh,
with
well,
those
now that they
people.
open the government, they'll probably stop it because they're
No,
all
they
back
won't.
to work.
No,
Oh,
they
they
won't.
won't?
No.
Shoot. All right. I was hoping. I should have hope, shouldn't I, doctor? Yeah.
But it should be well founded. You
Yeah,
should be
no
able to go
hopium,
with
just real
experience.
hope.
Yeah,
Hope in
true.
real things, not fake things. All right, I'm with you. What else happened in the webinar?
Well, I don't know if you saw this. I did. And, I don't see all the Tucker Carlson's broadcasts by any means. By any means. I'm quite, I'm busy enough without having to spend an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours with his stuff. But I did see this, and the question came up about his interview. It was an hour long with a guy named Dane Wigington about chemtrails and geoengineering. And it's an extremely hot topic. In fact, after I listened to it, and again, the question came up was just hey, what do you think about this? And I believe that it's more serious than I ever thought before.
What is?
And say again?
What's more serious?
Chemtrails, people call them, but it's
Oh, you
geoengineering.
mean they're real and they finally admitted to it and they're more
No,
serious than we
nobody's
thought?
no, none of the officials of it. By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene has a bill before the Congress right now. I think it's Tennessee and Florida have banned it in their states. Utah's looking at a bill to ban it. I think there's something like 32 or 36 states that are looking at it.
Yeah, but if you're looking at bills to ban it, you're admitting it's real, aren't you?
Well,
You don't ban
have to
something that
say
doesn't exist, do you?
there has to be some credibility. And this guy, he talked about the actual, what's being rained down upon us, like yellow rain kind
Like
of thing.
acid rain, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact is these nanoparticles, and they're so dangerous to humanity. And if you got aluminum nanoparticles, military grade weapons use these aluminum particles as an accelerant
Yes.
for explosives. I mean,
They also
there's
cause
just all
problems with
sorts.
lungs.
He talks about decoupling the concept from things that polarize. He says, if you want to talk about global warming, you don't talk about that particularly. Talk about what's actually there. We don't know the purpose. I mean, how can you know their hearts of the people that are doing this? But you can talk about the results of it. You can talk about the effects of it on humanity and all life on Earth. And this guy, my biggest beef with this guy was he talked too fast. You want to digest. I think he felt like, hey, we've only got so much time. We've got to talk all through. And Tucker
But
just listened.
You either talk fast, you talk less, or you take longer, like Dr. Bradley does.
Well, the fact
do
of the
one of the
matter
three.
is, if there's a rest of the story, the people really ought to get up and do something about this. And
I mean, we should be interested in the rest of the story, Doctor?
I think we
It's
should.
all about context and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, I think that's
You
important.
mean
to know.
we need to know the backstory and know the history and kind of have it in proper context to truly understand and analyze and properly kind of vet and carry forward the rejection of that which is evil and wrong and the promotion of that which is right and good. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, and I just looked up here because I got a plaque here across from my desk, and it's a George Washington statement. There is but one straight course, and that is to seek truth and pursue it steadily. And
Sounds like a ripping good idea to me.
I think so, and most people don't want to. They shatter like glass when you bring something up that I can't tell you how many times I have made presentations using only, words of the American founding fathers, scriptures, historical context,
Yeah,
all that
and
kind of
people
stuff.
just absolutely melt down, don't they?
They shatter like glass. And I've had people that, a lot of them would come up after and wanted to punch me in the face. They said,
Yeah.
wait, tell me what your problem is. I don't like what you're saying. Well, tell me is there an untruth that I've told, whatever. And it's so amazing that people simply, generally speaking, are too frightened of truth, and they want to keep their own little sacred cows in
I
their mind.
literally tell people everybody's God's children, and let's not be racist or whatever. God made us all, and He loves us all, and we're all His children, and let's treat each other like that. This one lady calls me up and says, "You're just a racist, and you're evil, and how dare you say those kind of things, and you have no idea what you're talking about." And I tried to, reason and talk through it, but just to no avail, and that's how it is. But Tucker Carlson, quote, "Government finally admits chemtrails exist under."
I don't know if the government has admitted it, but there are those in the government that are trying to bring it forward. And this guy,
but
by
I
the
think
way,
the government has admitted it, though. According to Tucker Carlson, though, they basically admit that under the geoengineering programs. Anyway, kind of interesting, in my opinion.
we've been doing
Tucker Carlson speaking
geoengineering
out.
since right after World War II. I mean, anybody that's they know what's been going on, HARP and all of these things fit together. The stuff that we did with Operation Popeye in Southeast Asia, with our climate change things, we tested that all over the world. I mean, the Philippines, the United States, and we found it to be very effective in this thing. And in fact, there was an international agreement that came out of that says you can't use climate modification in war. I mean, there's all sorts of these things that exist that we can go back to, and people say, "Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist," but they have captured the emissions of these aircraft that are making the stripes in the sky, and they know what's in them. They know they're harmful to humanity and all life on Earth. The water, the soil, the air is being polluted by them.
Are you saying they're lying, Doctor? Is that?
I think that's kind of their modus operandi. I do.
Where's Donald? I thought Donald was going to truth tell and be the most transparent government and get to the bottom of it and take care of business for us, man.
I think that this Make America Healthy Again thing needs to enter into this project. But he said, don't polarize people by, taking a perspective that there's a lot of debate on. Just state the facts. Stay with the facts.
The fact is, then the government's admitted, according to Tucker Carlson, that, hey, there's these chemtrails and they're disaster.
And they are extremely deleterious to everything that's humanity, everything, your health, your strength, your food quality, your water quality. Even they liken them to issues that could be a contributing factor at the very least to stuff like what happened in Lahaina, in Maui, with the fires and even the Palisade fires. All of these things are bad.
Wow. A lot of bad in the world, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of good, too. Hang tight. You're watching Liberty Roundtable Live. All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Scott Bradley, Sam Bushman. There's a big old long Tucker Carlson discussion of chemtrails, etc. And the question becomes, is the government admitted to chemtrails? And, it's hard to say if they admit to it or not. Depends on who. When a bunch of governments are passing legislation to try to stop something, then it seems to me that it's not... you can't say that we're not admitting to it if you're trying to pass legislation to stop it all over the country. So, but yet backhanded, they haven't really blatantly come out and said it. Here's the first clip of Tucker Carlson talking about this, though. Check this out.
It's always the obvious questions that are so vigorously discouraged. And one of the questions that's been the most discouraged over the past 30 years are, what are those lines in the sky that you see trailing jets? What is that? Some people call them chemtrails, claim that somehow the U.S. government is spraying poison on the population. Those people are clearly crazy. Wikipedia calls them crazy. Every news outlet calls them crazy. But the trails are still there. And it's clearly not water vapor, because that doesn't make sense at all. So what are they? We've spent the last 6 months trying to find someone credible who could explain that to us. A serious, sane person with an engineering background who could tell us, what are we looking at? Because we're looking at something. And I don't care what names you call me. I still want to know what it is. And we think we have found that person. Dane Wigington of Northern California has been on this subject for almost 30 years and has compiled what we believe, after looking at it pretty carefully, is the most comprehensive account of what we're seeing. And it's very bad.
All right, we can go ahead and stop that. It's very bad, Dr. Bradley. You watch this whole thing. What do you say?
I say he's understating it, and I believe that it's so deleterious to everything that is important. I mean, I believe, honestly, personally, we spend a lot of time hiking in the hills and everything like that, and I believe here a few years ago, my wife nearly died from the respiratory problems that were, I believe, a result of that. Our skies are murky. You can't see the stars like you used to be able to. It's not smog. It's a smaze that smears your view across valleys and other mountains. That vistas used to be beautiful, and I believe that they're far more comprehensive in how bad they are for what we'd like to have as our lives. And
Yeah,
so
but Tucker goes on the air and says it's bad, it's worse. We wanted to know. We don't care what names you call us. It's worse than we thought it was. I mean, is he still understating it
I do believe he's understating it. I believe that
intentionally, or do you think he's just
no,
doing his best to?
no.
Okay.
I believe that words failed him. I mean, what do you say? It's damn bad, or it's horribly bad. I mean, what do you say? I mean, it is really over
It's
the top.
criminally bad, is what I want to know. If it's criminal
I
and you
believe
really
it
lied
is.
to us and done this, then I want people going to prison. That's what I want, Doctor.
Well, I believe that, and there are states, including Utah. Utah says they're going to have before the legislature in this coming session a bill about it. Now, I got to say, I don't have a lot of confidence in that because Utah has a tendency to gut everything that has any guts. But Tennessee, I believe it is, and Florida have already banned this. Marjorie Taylor Greene. By the way, to show you how important it is to Utah's congressional delegation, none of them, not one of those 4 empty suits, has put their name on her bill. Now, this guy, this Dane guy that Carlson interviews, says that in a way she kind of polarized it the way she kind of skewed it into an area that people, if you believe that, I'm not going to go along with you. He said she should have stayed more with the geoengineering facts rather than bringing it into a kind of a topic that you suddenly get people with different views on. So he says it kind of missed that, and so consequently, it's maybe not getting as much traction as it should. But she's trying, and it should be passed. And to ban this,
and Donald's attacking her on all kinds of other issues, and you wonder if it's related, right?
Well, yeah, every single thing she's doing nowadays that's not exactly on point on his agenda, which is basically a tyrant that's going to shoehorn everybody into everything that he believes. Well, it's something that needs to happen. Discharge petition is not nearly the slam dunk that the news that we just had a little while ago would leave it an impression. It is not a done deal by any means, and we maybe ought to talk about that too. But that was question number 6, and we're only on.
Hold on, what are you saying? It's not a done deal, Doctor?
The Epstein.
Oh, it's totally done, my friend. You're not going to get to the bottom of it. You're going to be deceived and lied to and manipulated and berated and abused and attacked and never mind the evidence, sir.
No, it's bigger deal than that. It's a discharge petition doesn't mean you waved a magic wand and you got what you wanted. It guarantees a vote in the House.
All right. So do you think Donald's going down over it?
Hell no. Here's the deal.
All right. So Donald's not going down. Donald's not going down. Is anybody else going to jail besides Ghislaine? And Ghislaine's basically, she's got special privileges, special food, unlimited toilet paper, gets to hang out and play with her puppy. I mean, it's just a party in prison for the...
Sam, it's bigger than Ghislaine. It's a whole government blockage.
Yeah. You're saying it's a global shutdown.
No,
right?
The Brits are taking it seriously. But in the United States, it's fake news, according to Trump. He's absolutely opposed to it. They'll get a vote in the House. It'll pass the House. It'll go to the Senate. It needs a 60-vote cloture to pass the Senate.
Which means it will die.
And if it did get that 60-vote thing, then you've got to have
Donald's
got
to sign off. How can the Donald sign off on that bill?
He will not sign off on it. He'll veto it. And if he vetoes it, it'll go to the House again for a 2/3 override vote, which it will not get, and it'll go to the Senate if it got that to get a 2/3 override vote. It's Everybody thought that if they got a discharge petition, this was going to be a done deal. It is absolutely not. And
Well,
what you're going
when
to
you
see
say
is,
it's not a done deal, but it's a done deal. You're not going to get the records. You're not going to get the pay dirt. You're not going to have prosecutions over the Jeffrey Epstein deal. Trump's basically told you that, and that's the bottom line. Is since he's above the law, that's the way it is.
well, if your definition of done deal means it fails, I guess it's a done deal. But the fact
That's
of the
right.
matter is that Americans were hoping that they would get to the bottom of it. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene has said that she's going to read the names of the victims and their clients on the floor of the House when she gets them, and I think she's probably got most of them now anyway.
And I say good for her for that. We need to get out what we can when we can. But I'm just telling you right now, Donald Trump, and I've lost complete faith. I appreciate any good that he's done, but I've lost complete faith. Anybody that I believe is a true patriot, he ends up literally going against.
Well, he
Anybody
does.
who seems to be a criminal, he tends to want to pardon. Anybody who wants to cover things up, I mean, he made it sound like he was for the Epstein files when he thought they would never really come to fruition. Now that he finds out people are really serious and we really expect him to keep that promise, he's kind of going, what? Lock Hillary up, leave Jeffrey Epstein and my buddy George Soros alone, leave my people alone, is what he's really doubling down and saying here. And to me, I've lost complete confidence in Donald Trump now.
Well, everything that you think, and that's basically why the Republicans got their butts kicked in this last election, was because he's out there tromping around the world doing international things, which is not his job. And all the domestic things that people really care about are being pushed into the background. And so there's been some blowback. These things are going to be election issues in the midterm election, and certainly in the upcoming presidential election.
Well, if he gives us
$2,028.
$2,000 as a check, we could probably forgive him, don't you think? Maybe if he makes it $3,000, well, we could forgive him.
We do sell
I'm
our
joking.
souls.
I'm joking, folks. That seems to be the problem in America, though. That if Donald just ignores it long enough, mocks people and ridicules people long enough, causes enough subterfuge and confusion and magician tricks, keep the eye on this hand while this hand does the damage. And, if we just then have a short memory as Americans and forget it, that's where we're going to be. We need to not let that happen. We need to absolutely double down on this Epstein thing. We need to get the files released. We need to have accountability, because here's the real deal. It's a national security crisis, number one. If these people are compromised by honeypots or sex trafficking, we need to know. We can't have those people running the country or the world, right? And then the next point is, hey, is this program still continuing? Just because Epstein's gone, did somebody else just jump in the hot seat and carry on? Is it the greatest compromise? What do you want to call it? Using honeypots to trap people and to compromise and to blackmail. And is that still just going on unabated? That's the real question, isn't it, Doctor?
It absolutely is going on, and I can't prove it, but I think that if we got this information, it'd help move it along. But the Brits are taking this really seriously. I mean, King Charles took away his brother's princeship, and they also recalled their.
And I
British
appreciate that, but they're
ambassador.
not laying out the details of what happened and why, though. They're just.
But
doing
at
these
least
things.
there's some heads rolling.
Yeah, it's
and-
better than
and
what we're
here-
doing for sure. But I want to see, hey, Britain, if you're really serious, don't just yank your buddy's, your brother's princedom or whatever you want to call it, king status, whatever, favorite royalty status. Why don't you lay out what happened? Why did you do that? Was he involved with these women? And who else was involved? Why don't you start releasing what you know on the world stage if you're that serious, Britain? Because then you could force the United States into admitting some things too. Let's have all hands on deck for this one, Doctor.
Well, the United States has a responsibility to do the right thing, and we certainly don't have anybody in leadership that's I shouldn't say that. I mean, there are a few that are pushing on this. Very, very, very little chance anything will come out of it. And as you say, it's a done deal because the king has spoken.
And that's a tragic reality. And do I really think it's 100% done deal? No, I don't, because the American people have a window where they could absolutely rise up and demand it. And if we peacefully rose up and demand it, it wouldn't be the end of it. But if we lay down like we have hitherto, it's curtains, baby. I'm just telling you right now. All right, I'm Sam Bushman. I got Dr. Scott Bradley with me. freedomsrisingsun.com is his incredible website. Check out his collegiate series, To Preserve the Nation, and his weekly webinars every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. They're incredible. Check them out live, or you can do so, all the social media sites, Rumble and all that. All right, I'm Sam Bushman, lovingliberty.net. God save our republic.